today. I'm your Emperor, the Crown Fiend. And today we're doing What If Deku Was Android 13? And, of course, if you're going to enjoy this video, hit that like, comment, subscribe, and just so you know, I'm wearing my trucker hat. Hope you guys enjoy. Now, on to the intro. Alright guys, yeah, as you heard in the beginning part, this is What If Deku Was Android 13. And I'm actually going to have a lot of fun with this one, because Android 13 has always had a soft place in my heart for him, because the dude was just fucking awesome, and his movie with the Abridged series, I fucking loved it. There will be a lot of Team 4-Star references all throughout this video, so yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. So, where our story takes place is right when Deku was born. So, yeah, Deku spent a few years with Inko and Hisashi, but one day while he was on the playground, Inko and Hisashi were talking on a bench, and Deku was abducted as he was put in a van and drove off with two other kids. One with purple hair, another one a bit more normalish, had brown hair, big ass lips, but oh well, he wasn't gonna judge. The three quickly became friends as they were exported to America. Now, once they got over there to America, they were introduced to a scientist named Jiro. Now, when Jiro got his hands on them, they were, as you could say, expendable. They grew up, of course. They aged all the way up. They were educated from a very young age. And since you ain't gonna be at college, you already know what's about to happen. Okay, that became too natural. I don't know what happened there. But yeah. Anyway, so once they graduated high school, Dr. Jiro put them under anesthetics and began doing the android surgery to them, where he did a lot of the other things. So basically, he created Deku as android, as he dubbed him number 13. Santo became the android designated 14, as Mineta became the android designated 15. Now, the androids would then have to spar, as Deku would fight against Sato and Mineta and would ultimately win, as he would look at them as he would say, "Well, looks like I'm the strongest one there is. Meaning, looks like you two are gonna have to follow me. Now, how we doing, Doctor?" As Jiro said, "Gosh, I've been trying to fix that all this time. How is it still in there?" As Deku would look at him and says, "You can't fix what ain't broken. Now, where's my trucker hat?" As Jiro would say, "For the love of my non-existent god." Yes, that was a line, so don't take it too seriously. As Deku would grab his trucker hat, Jiro would say, "You know what? You three, get out of here. I don't want to see you ever again. Get out of here. Go. You're going back to Japan. That's an order. Go to Japan and never come over here again. I swear, I don't want to see you guys ever again. You're defective. Go." As, you know, Mineta would say, "How are we defective?" As Deku would say, "Well, I don't know, but I guess the good doctor has other plans, I guess. I guess we just don't fit into what he's trying to do." As he says, "Well, I can kind of see where he's coming from." As Mineta says, oh yeah? What? As Deku would say, well, for one, you got a drinking problem. For two, 14 over there can't talk to save his life. As for me, apparently my accent's a problem. I don't see how. But I got my trucker hat. As Mineta says, so what are we gonna do? We're going to Japan? Deku said, well, it would seem so. So I guess we'll just get going. So they end up going to Japan. As they know that, well, we need to go to college. As Deku says, well, I guess we could try to become heroes. After all, everyone loves a hero. And if we're good enough heroes, maybe the good doctor will let us come on back. As Mineta would say, okay, but where could we go to become heroes? And Sato just points to a sign up there, and Deku looks and says, well, I'll be. Why don't we just go to UA? After all, we're smart enough, powerful enough, and if we do well enough, well, we're gonna be famous in no time. And then we're gonna have Dr. Jiro begging us to come on back. As Mineta just says, well, it's good enough. As Deku looks at me, did you just stutter? As Mineta takes out his flask, opens it up, and takes a drink of it. As he just says, no, I did not. As Deku looks at him and says, well, whatever. Let's go apply for UA. As they go over there, they fill out the registration forms. As the staff looks at the papers and says, your names are 13, 14, and 15? As Deku looks at, well, yes, I am Android 13. He is Android 14. And the little guy is Android 15, aka Meat Shield. As Mineta looks at him and says, I am not a meat shield. As Deku looks at him and says, you'll be a meat shield whether you want to or not. That is not up for negotiation, boy. As the staff says, are you guys all right in the head? As Deku says, well, we're foreign, so sorry. But we have recently been, as you would say, cast out of our home. So, would you be kind enough to overlook the names? It appears our father wasn't really that creative, now was he? As the teachers say, well, can't fault you for your father. So, very well, wait, are the three of you siblings? As Deku says, well, yes, we are. Can't you tell the family resemblance? As the teacher just says, sure, okay. So here's the date for the entrance exams. You'll be expected to show up and take a written test and then perform a actual physical part of the test as well. As they would just say, okay. As all three of them would walk off, but Deku would realize that all of them have different testing locations. As he says, well, it looks like we gosh dang did it now, didn't we, boys? As Mineta says, what the fuck are you saying? Deku, well, you know what I'm saying, boy. As Mineta says, shut the fuck up. As he takes his flask out and starts drinking it, as Deku says, Don't you tell me to shut up, Meat Shield, as he picks him up by the head and throws him, as Mineta goes flying. And that's when a blue-haired boy with glasses comes up and starts trying to chew out Deku, as he says, "You can't be doing that. That is violence. You are breaking the law, sir. You need to be arrested. You should be more considerate about people's." And that's when Mineta comes up right back, flies right down and says, "You know, that was not very nice." As Deku says, "This dang narc over here trying to tell me what I can and can't do. He's telling me that I need to be more gentle with you, that it's illegal to throw you across the sky like that." As Mineta says, "The fuck?" As Mineta just looks at Deku and says, "Just target his weakness." As Deku says, "Alright," as he hears a voice in his head, "Weakness identified." As Deku just takes his leg and kicks right at the boy's leg, snapping it clear back, as the boy screams out in pain. And Deku just says, "Well, there we go. You done gosh dang dang did it now, didn't you, boy? Have fun walking." As he walks off and the boy yells, "You haven't heard the last of the Ida family." As Deku just, takes his hat and he pulls it down a little bit as he looks back and says, "Ain't never heard of you. Sorry, boy." As he walks on off. As they get back to the place they're staying at, which is a run-down little hole in the wall, but still, it's enough for them. And they start fixing the place up, and eventually they got it very livable. They got running water, they got electricity, AC, heating. They're pretty good. As ultimately they're just chilling. They got couches that nobody else wanted, basically things that everybody threw out. And they used little parts from other things to fix them up and get everything functional and living. So they got a full house set up. As they're just chilling down there, as Mineta finally runs out of his drink and he says, 13, we got a problem. As Deku says, "What is it, 14? Do we need to have another go around? What's the problem?" As Mineta says, I'm out. As that's when Deku says, "Gosh darn it, this boy done tripped his circuits again. 14, could you please be so kind as to fix the meat shield?" As Sato would get up, walk over there, as he would slam his head right down, headbutting Mineta, and that would fix him. As Mineta would look up and say, "Oh, thank you." As Sato would just grin and walk off. As Deku would say, "Thank you, 14. You're a real lifesaver." As he would just give him a thumbs up as he would go back to cooking. As he would get done cooking, they would eat. And they would say, "Why are we eating?" Deku would say, "Well, we're trying to be normal, aren't we? After all, we may have infinite energy, but we still need food, right?" As they would say, "Well, that's technically true, yes." As Deku says, "Well, we got a little bit of 10 months left before that dang gum entrance exam. So I say we get up to a little bit of training. We're wanting to show off, right?" As they're just looking, nod. Deku says, "Well then, why don't we get everything set up to go out there and have some fun? So, they end up going to the beach and they try to clear it off. The rest of it anyway, because that's where they've been getting most of their stuff for their house. As Deku just points his finger and he accidentally blows it all up and everything's just gone. He says, "Oh, right, I forgot. I can blow away mountains with just the one finger. I forget I have to kind of limit myself." So that's what they end up working on. They work on limiting themselves out on the power output and everything, as they don't want to kill anybody. So yeah, day of the entrance exam comes. They fly down there as they all hit the ground and everyone's just looking at them, as they're all wearing their typical android counterparts clothing. Basically what you see on screen. That's what they're wearing from the androids. Deku's got the vest, he's got the, pants on, he's got the trucker hat, as they're walking on up in there. As Deku looks and says, "Well, ain't this something? We're gonna have some fun in here." And since there's no Ida, because Ida's not in this story. Oh shit. Yeah, so Bakugo's the one that starts popping off his mouth and saying, "What the hell type of people are you? What the fuck are you guys wearing? And why is that short one drinking so much?" As Deku would look at him and say, "I beg your pardon? Are you trying to start something with us, boy? Now, I'm not trying to make this about anything other than what you're saying, but I suggest you sit down. Shut up before you get yourself hurt, boy." As Bakugo would look, as he would just say, "The fuck?" It sounds like it's all of that when you end it with the word boy. And that's when Mineta gets up as he walks over there to where Bakugo's at. As Bakugo says, "Oh yeah, and what are you about to do?" As Bakugo starts popping off explosions, as President Mike says, "Stop, sit down now," as Bakugo's not listening. Mineta says, "Well, you heard him. Here, let me help you sit down." As he floats up in the air, he takes Bakugo's shoulder and slams him back down into his seat. And Bakugo's surprised. He just got forced to sit down by a midget in a pimp suit. As Mineta goes back to his seat, he sits down, the tests get handed out. They all pass, as they're all sent to different exam locations for the final part. As Deku's there just waiting, he's chilling, and he sees somebody, because Deku's not the same one as Bakugo, because Bakugo and Mineta and Uraka, they're at the same one. Deku, he's at a different one, so yeah. He sees a girl with bright reddish orange hair, and he says, "Well, I'll be. Ain't she one beautiful woman? I guess I should introduce myself." And keep in mind, Deku does still have his green hair, so yeah. As he walks over there, as he says, "Well, how you do, missy?" As the girl looks up and says, "Oh, hi, can I help you?" As Deku says, "Oh, I'm just wanting to introduce myself. The name's 13, and look at my trucker hat." As the girl says, "Oh, how nice. And that is a nice looking trucker hat." As the, "Well, I know, ain't it? It was a gift by my father, someone I revered so very much. But I would like to know your name, if you would be kind enough to tell me." As she says, "Oh, the name's Kendo." As he says, well, Kendo, it's been a pleasure meeting you. I wish you good luck on your entrance exam. If you need help, just let me know. I'll be over there to help you. As Kendo says, wait, you would help me get points? Don't you need them? As Deku just looks and says, well, you see, I'm not really gonna need points that much, considering I'll get a majority of them within a blink of an eye. As Kendo thinks he's bluffing, as Deku just smiles as the gates open. As Deku immediately just speed blitzes everything. Within 1 second, he's already destroyed enough robots to give him about 800 points. As Kendo looks and just says, what the hell? As Deku says, see, little missy, I told you I would get enough points within the blink of an eye. Now, would you like some help? As everyone else says, yes, help me. And Deku says, pipe down, ingrates. I ain't talking to y'all. I'm talking to the beautiful missy right there, Miss Kendo. As basically, Kendo just says, sure. As Deku heard all the fucking robots to Kendo, as she would just break them apart. As that's when they decide to release the Zero Pointer. And Deku would just say, well, are you a biggin? I wonder, how many points are you worth? As Kendo says, that's worth 0 points. As Deku says, oh, come on now. Something this big ain't just gonna be worth 0 points. It's gonna be worth a lot more than that. I tend to collect them points. As Kendo says, yeah, sure, do what you're gonna do. As there's nobody trapped under there, but Deku, he's confident. So he says, well now, say hello to my TH Deadly Bomber. As he then fires a red orb of ki right at the Zero Pointer, completely obliterating it. There's nothing left. As Kendo walks up and says, is the TH for... And Deku says, yes, for Trucker Hat. As she says, okay, not my first choice, but alright. So pretty much after that, they just wait. As Mineta says, hey, 13, where's the liquor? I need to refill my flask. As Deku says, well, 15, I guess we're out of liquor. Take 14 and go get some more. They'll keep IDing your little short ass. All you're good for is being a little meat shield. Now run along. As Mineta just looks and says, fuck you, 13. As he says, come on, 14, we're gonna go get some liquor. As Sato gets up and he walks with Mineta. As they get to the store, as Mineta happens across to see somebody. As he looks up and says, you go on ahead, 14. I'ma go investigate this. As he walks with his hands in his pockets, his sunglasses on. As he gets over there, he looks up and he says, well now, ain't that a bitch with a fat ass? Tall as fuck too. Gosh damn. As he sees Mount Lady fighting with a villain. And then he sees Mount Lady fall into the street, people are running, and he says, you know what, maybe I should help her out a bit. Get on that fat ass's good side. As he walks over there, just as casual as can be, and then he sees that it's about to fucking just punch her straight in the face. So what's he do? He just says, alright, to hell with it. As he pulls out his hand and fires a ki blast that knocks the fucker right on off of Mount Lady and into a building. As everyone just looks at him, and even Mount Lady's just like, the fuck? as Mineta just says, I was just doing my civic duty of helping out. As she just says, yeah, sure. As she pulls the villain out of there and arrests him. As basically Mount Lady shrinks back down as she says, okay, who or what are you? As that's when 14 comes out with the liquor as he says, ah, there you are, 14. Just in time. As Shoto just looks and hands Mineta the liquor as Mineta just opens the bottle and starts drinking. As Mount Lady says, are you guys old enough to drink? As Mineta says, oh, right. Don't worry. You see, I'm actually 18. She says, that is not the legal age. He said, oh, just be quiet for a minute here. My name is 15. This here's my brother, 14. We have another brother called 13. He's an asshole. Now, I'm here to ask you for your number. As Mount Lady just takes him and throws him. As she just says, not on your life. As Shoto grabs her by the arm and is about to break it. As Mineta just says, oh no, don't hurt her, 14. Ah, she's feisty. Just the way I like 'em. I'm gonna get your phone number if it's the last thing I do, baby. As she just says, get out of here. As Shoto releases and Mineta just says, I'm gonna get her. Just you wait and see. I'm gonna get her. As they walk back and Deku's just laughing his ass off. Oh, 15. You got your ass whooped on live TV. You tried getting that bitch's number, and she threw you like a fucking can of beans, boy. Gosh damn, meat shield at its finest. As Mineta just says, fuck you, 13. As basically time passes, it's their first day of school. They realize they're all in the same classes as they're just like, well, ain't this awesome? As Deku says, yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun. One question though, why in the fuck are these doors so damn huge? Makes Jiro's lab look like a cute little playpen. Not to mention our home looked like a hole in the wall. As Mineta's just like, well, I don't know. Anyways, let's just go on in. As basically they get in there, they sit down, and Aizawa sees that they're not in uniform. As he gets out of his sleeping bag super fucking early, as he says, you three, why aren't you in your uniform? As Deku says, well, for one, the uniform just don't fit us right. It's too restricted. I like to be free, and I ain't hiding my body for nobody. And for one, there's no way in hell I'm taking off my trucker hat. As Mineta says, yeah, too restricting. I like my clothes to be baggy. And Shoto just doesn't say anything, and so I was like, what's his problem? And just Mineta says, oh, I forget, your unrefined meatbag ears wouldn't be able to understand his delicate type of speech. As Deku just says, that's right, fleshlights. As I was just, did you just call me a fleshlight? As Deku would say, why, yes I did. Got a problem with it, fleshlight? As always just says, okay, for one, take off the trucker hat. You're all expelled. As Deku just grabs Mineta and says, meat shield, attack. As he throws Mineta. As Aizawa barely dodges, because Deku didn't actually want to hit Aizawa. He wanted to scare him though. And Mineta goes through the wall dividing class 1B and 1A He goes through Recovery Girl all the way through to the very fucking end. And Mineta's just like telling people, "Hi, how are you? Yep, coming through. Yep, excuse me. Hey, I'm walking here. I'm flying here." As he finally gets up there, as he's actually going through the wall in the hallway, and he sees a girl with blue hair, as he's like, "Hey, can I grab a titty?" As the girl's just like, "What the fuck?" As Mineta just says, "Ah, hell with it." As he just takes out the flask and starts drinking. He eventually gets out of the main campus of UA, and he starts going through every practice building into the fucking gym, as he's just drinking his flask while he's just soaring through the air, getting fucking just put through every single fucking wall. And Aizawa's just like, "What the fuck?" As Deku just says, "Like I said, Fleshlight, I'm strong and I'm not leaving. Not after all that work you don't put us through. After all, I'm keeping the clothes and I'm keeping the trucker hat." As Nezu comes down there and says, "What in the hell just happened?" As basically all the students just point at Deku. He's like, 13? You're causing all these problems?" As I was like, 13? As Deku says, "Well, yes, that's my name, is it not?" As Aizawa looks on his papers, as it says 13, 14, and 15. And he's just like, "Who named you? We actually have a pro hero named 13. And Deku says, "Well, it looks like she's gonna have to change her name. Or he. Whatever it is. I'm the only 13 around here." As Aizawa says, "That's gonna be kind of difficult to do." As Nezu's, it is his legal name. We have to tell her to change it. As Aizawa's just like, "This is why." So Nezu just realizes how strong they are and how much potential risk is involved. He says, Aizawa, just let them wear what they're gonna wear, okay? I don't need my school being destroyed in the process, okay? Okay? Alright, well, I'm gonna leave. You tend to this. And get that other student before he wrecks the entire fucking campus. As that's when Mineta just comes walking back. He says, "Huh? What?" As basically, Nez says, "Are you drinking?" As Mineta says, "It's water." Nez says, "I'm not even going to question it. Not even. Alright? Not even going to question this shit. I'm out." As basically Nezu just leaves, goes to his office, as he just screams into the fucking stress pillow he has hidden underneath his desk. As Aizawa says, "Okay, quirk assessments. If you guys can't get a hero score, then you're pretty much, just kicked out. And no one can save you from this one." As Deku says, "Well, I'll be. All we gotta do is get a hero score. Well, boys, that should be quite easy for us. I reckon this here test gonna be child's play." As they all get down there, and once again they refuse to change, and Aizawa already got Nezu's orders on that, so yeah, pretty much they got to just allow them to do either. So he just tosses the ball to Deku. He's like, yeah, sure. As soon as he goes through that, I'm erasing his quirk, and I'm gonna fail him. So Deku gets the ball, and he throws it, and Aizawa says, "The fuck? Why didn't your quirk go off?" And Deku says, "The fuck's a quirk? I'm here an android." As Aizawa says, "The fuck's an android?" And Mineta, like he said, "The fuck's a quirk?" As basically Aizawa was just like, "How do you guys not know what quirks are?" As Mineta's just like, "The fuck's a quirk?" And Deku said, "Yes, this here quirk stuff's pretty, confusing to us simple folk. What the fuck is a quirk, if you don't mind my asking? As I was just like, you know what? Just forget about it, okay? Just forget about it. He looks at his little deal and sees Deku got infinity. As he says, okay, 14 gets infinity. 15 gets infinity. Okay. Basically, Uraka gets infinity. And I was just like, what the fuck? 4 students with infinity? As Deku looks and says, are you an android too? As Uraka just, no. I have a gravity quirk. Deku says again, now will somebody please tell me, what in the fuck is a quirk? As Mineta says, I don't know, maybe it just means they're quirky. As Deku just says, yeah, that's gotta be it. Maybe they're just quirky. As basically Uraka says, no. We have a thing called a quirk. Do you guys not have that? Are you guys quirkless? As Deku looks at him, Sato, Mineta, and they just all shrug. They say, this is the only power that they've ever had. As everyone's just like, huh, go figure. And pretty much, they're just not even going to recognize it. Through all the other tests, Deku dominates with Sato close behind Mineta, really close to Sato. Nobody else is really competing, and the person who took Ida's spot is Kendo. So yes, Kendo's in class 1A because, as we know, Ida currently is missing a kneecap from Deku kicking it in. And the person that takes Kendo's spot in class 1B is Shinzo. So yes, Shinzo does get into the Hero Course class. And without Kendo there, Shinzo's actually the ringleader of class 1B. So yeah. Now, basically, a few days pass as Deku is flirting with Kendo. As Kendo's starting to warm up to Deku, the whole accent thing, it's really getting to her. And she kind of likes it. So yeah. Now, Mineta, he's still out there every day looking for, Mount Lady. As he does eventually get Mount Lady's phone number because she just says, okay, look, if I give you my phone number, will you please stop coming out here while I'm working? Mineta says yes, and she gives him her phone number. So yeah. Oh man. Yeah, so that happens. So while that's happening, 14, aka Sato, he's just all on his own most of the time. Because 13's flirting with Kendo, 15's out dating Mount Lady. So he just walks around, mainly school, he's observing nature, all that good shit. And he runs into a class of upperclassmen practicing, as he sees 3 students in particular. One being a very shy and timid boy with black hair. Another one being overly confident and very peppy with blonde hair. And then a girl who is very chipper, kind of an airhead, but has blue hair. And he kind of digs the whole blue hair thing and thinks she looks pretty cute. Only problem is, boy can't speak. For shit. So, yeah. Basically, he goes up to there and he tries to introduce himself as he just speaks but gets an error message. As she says, oh, you have such a way with words. My name is Nejire. Nice to meet you. And Tamaki says, you understood that? And Nejire says, of course I did. I have amazing ears. As Sato grins, as Mirko says, oh dude, you got some big ass lips. As Sato kind of just glares at him, as Nejire bitch slaps Mirio, as he's like, the fuck? She says, don't you dare talk to him that way. As Sato's just surprised as Nejire says, so, do you want to go somewhere and talk? And she's just really curious about this man. As he tries to speak again, error message, as Nejire says, you have such a way with words. And the two go off. As Deku was watching that whole thing, and he's just like, well, I'll be damned. Dude got a fucking bitch with that error message code. Wait, I think that might be that quirk thing that bitch was talking about. Oh well. Now howdy there, little missy. I'll say, you mind giving this to the beautiful Kendo for me? I gotta be on my way now, so you take care, you hear? As he heads on off. And basically, time just flies. It's time for the Heroes versus Villains event. Now, for this one, I'm literally only going to cover 3 matches. And I've randomized the teams a bit. So, here's the teams for the matches I'm going to cover. The first one is Deku and Shoto versus Bakugo and Mina. So let's talk about that one real quick, and then I'll go into the other ones. So Deku and Shoto are the villains, as Bakugo and Mina are the heroes. So they get ready, and it's showtime. And of course, all their hero outfits are the same, except for like Deku's, Mineta's, and Sato's. Once again, they're still in their android clothes because they don't change that shit for anything. As Shoto just says, I'm just gonna flash freeze it. As Deku says, now hold on, boy, just one goddamn minute. I'ma go out there, I'll take care of them, and you just sit there and look good for those cameras. You hear? Now, sit right there. I'ma go ahead and take care of things. As he just disappears, as Shoto's like, the fuck did he go? As Deku comes back and says, now didn't I tell you, boy, just to sit there and look good? Here they are, knocked out unconscious and just taken down. Alright, now, let's just say we get out of here and watch the other matches. As Shoto's like, what the fuck just happened? As All Might's just like, was the camera on? As he has to like freeze frame that shit, and he still doesn't see Deku. As he's just like, the fuck just happened? He's like, okay, villains win. Okay, the fuck is going on here? As the second team up is Mineta and Kendo as heroes, as their opponents are Kaminari and Hiroshima. As Kendo's just trying to plan it, and Mineta's just like, oh no, you just sit there, look pretty for 13. Because I know he thinks that you're very gorgeous and all that, so you just sit there and wait. I'm gonna go in there and, yeah, I'll take care of things. As she just says, I'm not some trophy. And 13 can go fuck himself. And you can too. As she uses her giant hand and just slaps Mineta, and he's just like, well, gosh damn. Bitch is as fiery as 13 is. No wonder he likes this hoe. As Deku gets on the intercom, and because he knows what Mineta just said. He just tells Mineta, the fuck did you just say, Meat Shield? I swear, you call her a hoe, I'm throwing you into the fucking stratosphere. As Mineta's just like, oh shit, I pissed him off. As basically, he just blitzes it. And before Kendo can even get to the first step, Mineta's already there with his hand on the device as he says, I think that's a fucking win, right? As All Might says, yeah, that is a win. As Kendo's just like, the fuck just happened? And pretty much what happened is that they're all just like amazed as Deku and Mineta are just grinning at each other, and they look at Sato and they say, "Alright, boy, you better go in there and not disgrace yourself." As Sato just said, as he nods. So All Might says, "This is getting way too easy here." So he says, "Oh, hold up there, young 14. I'm giving you a bit of a disadvantage." And they're like, "Now hold on one gosh dang ding dong minute here, Teach. You're just now letting us pass, but now you're gonna switch things up for our brother over there? What is this? Some kind of condescension? Some kind of favoritism now?" As All Might says, "It's just not fair with you guys on any team." And, you know, Deku and Mineta do make good points, though, as everyone kind of agrees with them that it's not really fair. It's not like they're hurting anybody either. Well, except for 13, who just bodied 2 motherfuckers in the blink of an eye. So, All Might says, "Fine. Same deal." As Sato is teamed up with Aoyama. His opponents are Sero and Kota, yeah. So basically, it starts. Sero just stands there. He's just like, "Well, it's gonna be over real quick anyway." As Kota just says, "True." And Aoyama's just like, "What are you waiting for? Shouldn't we go? I can't stop twinkling." As basically 14 just looks at the camera and just sits there. He just sits. And All Might's just like, "The fuck is this?" As Deku just says, "Well, look at there. He's going on protest for your little stunt you tried to pull there. So, what you gonna do about it, boy?" As All Might says, "I am not a boy, and you might want to stop saying that before you catch these hands, young 13. As 13 looks at him and he says, "Boy, I want all that smoke. You're messing with the wrong boy for that." As basically, All Might just says to Sato, if he doesn't get up and participate, he will be disqualified and fail. And that's when Deku gets on the intercom, pushing All Might out of the way. He says, 14, go ahead in there and kick some ass. I'll be sure to pass this clip on to Nejire. I'm pretty sure she'll say you got a way with words and moves after that." As basically All Might says, "What does Nejire have to do with any of this?" As Deku looks at him and says, "Well, you'll find out eventually. Or maybe not." As basically 14 gets up, blitzes in there, and fucking elbows both Sero and Kota in the fucking faces and knocking them out and into walls. As he touches the Doomsday device and wins. As All Might just said, "The fuck?" As basically any of the other matches, you can put them any way you'd want. As the day after that, like, All Might's literally just still dumbfounded on how that just fucking happened. He literally has no damn idea. So, the days pass. Deku finally gets Kendo to kind of talk things out with him. While Sato's dating Nejire now. So, Deku's the only one that isn't dating a person. As he looks at Kendo and says, "Now look, darling, I'm not trying to offend you or anything. I'm just thinking you're mighty fine, and that I'd like to take you out on a date if you would be so accompanying to me." As Kendo says, look, that slick tongue may get you everywhere you want to in all these other places, but trust, I'm a fighter, okay? I fight for what I want. And Deku says, oh, really now? Well, if you just would have told me that earlier, I wouldn't have had to tiptoe around this little subject. So, if you want to fight, how about a fight? I win, you go on a date with me. You win, I'll leave you alone. Simple as that, lovely. As basically, Kendo just says, fine, it's a deal. So, Deku and Kendo get ready for a fight. And Deku already knows he's got this in the bag. So, Kendo tries her best as Deku's just dodging everything left and right. As he just says, ooh, almost got me there. Felt the breeze on that one. And then Kendo just goes above Deku's head, and he doesn't dodge it because he doesn't think he's going to hit him. And that's when Kendo just knocks off his trucker hat. And Deku says, what in tarn, my trucker hat? Alright, that's it now. You done gosh goddamn did it now, girl. As he goes over there and just blitzes her, gets behind her and fucking chops her in the back of the neck. And Kendo is knocked out. And that's when the wind goes and starts blowing Deku's trucker hat. As he looks up and he says, my trucker hat! As he tries to get it, but the wind's already carried it really far away. He just looks at his trucker hat. A single tear comes to his eye. As he's just like, my trucker hat. Ugh, I done lost my trucker hat. As he just looks at Kendo and sits there until she wakes up. About 3 hours later, Kendo wakes up. As she says, what happened? And Deku says, well, for one, I would be tipping my trucker hat to you, but I lost it. As Kendo just says, oh, sorry about that. As Deku just has a single tear come to his eye again. As he said, my trucker hat. As she says, sorry, I'll go on a date with you to make it up. And Deku says, what good's a date without my trucker hat? So Deku just gets up and walks home. As Kendo says, sorry, I'll call you? And Deku says, yeah, sure. As he gets home, and lo and behold, right there on his favorite chair, he looks and says, my trucker hat, you came home. As basically Mineta says, yeah, I found that thing and it flew onto Mount Lady's costume. I kind of figured it was yours, cause, yeah, nobody else seems to be wearing trucker hats these days. As Deku just looks and says, my trucker hat. Thank you, number 15. Maybe you're not such a meat shield bitch after all. As Mineta just says, sure, whatever. As he hits the bed. As he just, before he does, he tells fucking Deku, oh, by the way, I'm clapping them Mount Lady cheeks tonight. As Deku says, what in tarnation? What are you talking about, 15? Because that's when Mount Lady comes out in some fucking BDSM bondage, a fucking horse crop and chains, and says, oh, don't worry, I'm gonna teach him a bitch's proper place. As Deku just says, you know, I don't mean to intrude upon others' relationships, but don't you think that's going a little bit too far, 15? As Mineta says, shut the fuck up, I like to be dominated. As they close the door. And all Deku hears after that is Mineta being gagged, spanked, and dominated for the remainder of the night. He decides to turn off his ears function as he goes up into bed and he wakes up the next day. He turns his ears back on. He hears they're still going at it. He's like, alright, well, this is enough of that gosh darn bullshit. I'm gonna go in there and see what the fuck is going on. As he walks in there and says, now what in the tarnation? Oh no. Come on, trucker hat, we're getting the fuck up out of here. As he just sees Mineta taking it from a fucking strap-on from Mount Lady. And Deku just like books it up out of there. And, you know, Sato sees that. He's right behind Deku. He's just running. And, yeah, they're pretty much done. They get to school, and they say, yeah, 15 ain't gonna be here today. He's, occupied with some, other stuff, if you catch the drift. As Sato tries to talk, but he just gets it with a fucking error message, and Nedre just pops up. He has such a way with words. And then disappears, and Deku's like, what in tarnation's going on here? This is some kind of fucking joke show that I'm on and I don't know about. As everyone just says, hey, we're just as clueless as you. And anyway, it's time for the USJ event. As Mineta ends up showing up after all. So everyone's just dressed, ready. As Deku looks at Mineta and he says, how in the hell is your asshole not sore? As Mineta just says, I am built to last. As Deku just says, yeah, we're all built to last, but we ain't built to last that type of bullshit. You're just built degenerate. That's all you are. As Mineta just says, then I'm a degenerate that I can be proud of. As 13 says, yeah, well, you do you. Just don't bring that shit into the house till fucking wee hours in the morning. Yeah, alright. As Mineta says, yeah, I got you. And are you sure? Yeah, of course. Are you positive, boy? As Mineta's like, yep, 100%. And they just get on the bus. As Deku says, you know, this would be so much quicker if we just flew them all there. As Mineta just says, yeah, that's true. As pretty much words gotten around at what happened to Mineta the other night, nobody wants to touch Mineta or get touched by Mineta. They're just all keeping their distance. Even Deku and Sato are keeping their distance. Mineta is literally just duct taped to the side wall in the bus. As they get to their location, everyone gets off the bus and Deku looks in there and says, alright, you can come on out now, boy. As basically Mineta just tears the duct tape off and starts walking out there. He just says, you know, you're gonna end up creasing the suit. As Bakugo pops off, I think more than the suit's already been creased. As Mineta just says, shut your fucking bitch ass up. And last time I checked, you're over there getting a fucking bro boner with your boy Hiroshima. You ain't got shit to talk about. As Deku just starts laughing. He says, boy, that's the funniest shit I ever done heard. Now then, why don't you shut your bitch ass up before I punt you clear across the fucking country. As basically Bakugo just says, whatever, fucking scrap metal. And as always says, knock it off, both of you. And Deku just says, meat shield. As Mineta says, oh no. No. And basically, Deku just says, whatever. So they get in there as 13 says that, hello, she is the pro hero 13. And Deku says, hold up a minute here. I'm 13. 13 says, no, I'm 13. And Deku says, no, I'm 13. And 13 looks at Aizawa, Deku looks at Aizawa, and they say, who's 13? As Aizawa just says, oh, I don't get paid enough for this shit. And Aizawa literally says that, look, his actual name is 13. As 13 just says, that's fucking stupid. As she looks at Deku and says, so you're literally 13. And Deku says, well, that's my name. Don't wear it out now. And I'll be much more than happy if you'll quit calling yourself 13, if you please. As she just says, fine, whatever. Not the time or place for it. As Deku would say, oh, sure, most appreciated. And that's when Nomu comes out with Shigaraki, Kurogiri, and Shigaraki is laughing his fucking ass off. He's just like, what the fuck are you guys even talking about? A name? You guys made this big of a deal over a name? As basically Deku says, boy, I know you're just not disrespecting my name, are you? As he says, you know what, Nomu? Go kill them. I want to hear their screams. As Deku says, weapon acquire, meat shield. As he takes Mineta by the head and just blitzes at Nomu as he just slaps Mineta against Nomu, and Mineta just shatters because Deku hit Nomu so hard with Mineta. All that's left of his head as he says, well, this is shit. As he just throws Mineta over there. As his head rolls around, as he lands right in Uraka's arms. As Mineta says, well, this ain't the worst thing that's happened to me. And Uraka just fucking freaks out. As Baku says, the fuck is that? As Mineta just says, calm your damn horses. I am number 15. I'm just ahead, because that fucking oaf of 13 destroyed my gosh damn body. As Baku looks at Kirishima, Kirishima says, I don't know, dude, you just fucking throw it. And Baku picks it up and says, throw it away. As Mineta just says, no, don't you go throwing my fucking head, boy. As Bakugo just throws fucking Mineta's head, as he's just like, gosh damn it, I'm a fucking slap the fuck out of you when I get a body back. As basically Deku just tells 14, hey, 14, go and get 15's head. Can't afford him to go drowning on us now, can we? As Sato just sighs as he blitzes over there and catches Mineta's head. As he sees a lot of villains in the water, he basically just fires a ki blast down there and kills them all. As Nomu tries to fucking hit Deku as he knocks off the trucker hat. And Deku says, that's the damn second time my trucker hat's been knocked off my head. I am not losing this bitch again. Alright, big bitch, I hope you're ready. You're about to get the TH Deadly Bomber. And just so you know, the TH means trucker hat. As he blasts Nomu with the TH Deadly Bomber. As Nomu just disintegrates right then and there. Nothing left of him. As it hits Shigaraki as well and blows him up. So Shigaraki and Nomu are dead. Dusted. As for the rest of them, they decide to surrender. Right then and there. Police get there. Kurogiri just disappears because he's just not about to get captured. So yeah, he slips away while Deku's picking up and dusting off his trucker hat. As he basically just says, well, there's one problem done and dusted now, ain't it? As Kendo just says, so, about that date. And Deku says, well, I reckon we can go ahead and have ourselves a date. Just allow me to clean myself up a bit. You should probably do the same, sweetheart. As Kendo says, sure. Oh, and by the way, that was real manly. And basically, Deku just says, oh, you know it, sweet cheeks. As basically everyone's freaking out because Mineta's dead. And basically, like, they're not believing that he's still alive because Mineta's head shut off. So they think Mineta's just dead. Like, permanently fucking dead. And so while that's going on, like, everybody's just going underneath scrutiny. UA is being torn apart in the media. And they say, they're showing pictures of Mineta being deceased, his body just smashed to pieces and everything. And basically, the next day happens at school. Mineta shows up. And everyone's just like, the fuck? And the news outlet that's there, they're just like, weren't you dead? And Mineta says, I told you guys I would get a new body. This isn't the first time it's happened. That fucker 13 wrecks me every time he gets in the mood for it. He sees something that could present a challenge, calls me the meat shield, and just fucking uses me to murk him. As everyone looks at Deku, as Deku's laughing his fucking ass off. He can't even speak. He's just dying of laughter while walking into the fucking school. So he's fucking dead. And Aizawa just says, well, sports festival's coming up, and Deku's just like, oh, now this is gonna be fun, ain't it? As he just looks at Deku and says, now, don't go throwing Mineta in the sports festival. And Deku says, is there a rule against it? Aizawa says, technically no. Then Deku says, I'm gonna do it. As basically, he just, gosh damn it, we need to make that a rule. And he says, oh, no you don't. As basically, I suppose, yes we do. And Deku's like, no you don't. You're not about to be taking away the one thing I enjoy. So no, you are not making a rule against me using my meat shield. As Aizawa just looks at Mineta, he says, are you okay with this? And Mineta just says, you know, you figure I'd be stronger since, you know, I'm the bigger number, but I'm actually not. He's the strongest one of us three, so, you know, it's kind of weird. Shouldn't he be number 15? No, it's me. I guess 15 means the 15th fuck up. As Deku just says, well, at least you're not a mute like 14. And 50 says, no, I just have a drinking problem. As he pops out the flask and starts drinking. As the days pass and it's time for the sports festival, like, everybody's ready for it. Deku did concede because Kendo talked him into just wearing a sports festival uniform for one day. And Deku, he hates it already. But he ain't taking off his trucker hat for shit. As he looks everyone in the eye, he says, if I gotta wear this gosh darn monkey suit, I'm telling you right now, the trucker hat is staying. And that's the final word, cause 13 said so. As he walks out of the room, as he gets ready. 15 and 14 just look at each other and start laughing uncontrollably. As, you know, Sato tries to speak. Nedry pops her head in and says, he has such a way with words. And leaves. And everyone says, okay, we really gotta lock that door. As pretty much Mineta walks out as he sees Mount Lady down there, and he just goes over there and starts chatting her up as he says, so if I win, we gonna do that again? As Mount Lady says, what, me dominating you with a strap on? As Mineta says, oh, you know I love to be dominated. As she says, who's your mommy? Mineta says, you are. As she says, good little bitch. Now go win, and maybe I'll let you lick my feet. As Mineta's just like, oh yes. As he leaves, and Deku looks at him, and he heard the whole thing. He's like, boy, are you desperate or some shit? Are you not done degrading yourselves, just like taking yourself down a peg? Gosh darn it. And Mineta says, well, funny enough, she does peg me a lot. As Deku's just like, what in the tarnation hell is wrong with you? As basically Mineta's just like, whatever, you wouldn't get it. As Sato is looking, and even he just like bleep some fucking words as Nedre is in the stands screaming out. He has such a way with words. As Deku looks at her and says, and you need to shut your airheaded bimbo ass up. No offense, 14, but gosh darn, that shit's getting annoying. As basically he just speaks out some shit as Nedre holds her tongue. As Deku's, well, thank you, 14. I'm sorry I called her that as well. As Midnight's explaining everything, and Mineta starts drooling over Midnight. Mount Lady sees this, and she's just pissed. As Deku looks and says, well, 15, you may want to not be drooling over that lady while your woman's back there about ready to kick your ass. As Deku says, alright, the tarnation, hell with this. As he tears off the sleeves to his uniform and fucking just tears the bitch open. He makes the top part of his fucking sports gear a vest. As he's like, now there we go, much more roomy. As he pretty much just blitzes it as soon as Midnight says go. So, Deku's blitzing everything. All the robots that are in the way, yeah, no, not a problem. He's just flying right through them. Flies right over the fucking deal, over the minefield. He's the first one in there, followed closely by Sato and then Mineta. As Midnight just like, I didn't even get a chance to get down there yet. As basically Deku just looks and says, well, that ain't my prop. You're rather slow for a hero, aren't you? As basically all the way back in America, Dr. Jiro is looking at this and he says, oh hell no. The cringe bots. No, why did I make them? Why? Why are they here? And why couldn't I patch that goddamn country accent? As basically right back in that, like, everybody's finally gotten in there. Everybody else got their canon placements except for like Baku, Toru are 4th and 5th, and everybody else just like places behind them. So yeah, however you want to divide that up. As it's time for the Cavalry Battles. As Deku just decides that they're just going to be a team of 3. Deku gives Mineta the headband to wear as Mineta's the horse. Well, the rider or whatever. As Deku and Sato just raise Mineta up as they go around and they steal everyone's fucking headband. And they keep it. They don't give it back. Like, nobody has a headband anymore except for them. As the time limit expires, since, you know, they're just up there chilling in the air and nobody can reach them to get it back. So, Midnight just ends it prematurely. There's no way anything was going to change. So, they have to make a different deal, because it's literally just 3 people that go on to the next round. And if you really just divide them from the first round, you already get your first, second, and third place winners. As basically they say, okay, well, the technical first, second, and third place people are right here. So, damn. They ruined the whole sports festival. As people are just so impressed with Deku, Mineta, and Shoto that, yeah, they really can't think of anybody better than them. As Mei is really surprised by them. As Deku just says, "I'd like to thank my trucker hat for allowing me to get first place in this." As Kendo says, "Just the trucker hat?" As Deku's, "Well, you're there too, but it's mainly the trucker hat." As she says, "I'm getting sick and tired of that trucker hat." And Deku's, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, I got you a gift as well." As she's like, what'd you get me? As Deku pulls out a pink trucker hat. He says, "I got you a trucker hat to match." As Kendo says, "Just what I always wanted, a trucker hat." As he puts it on Kendo and he says, "See now, how's it feel? Doesn't it feel better?" As she says, "Well, it's less windy." And Deku says, "Well, yes, it's a lot less windier now, isn't it?" And so basically, the rest of the students do get a chance to show off, but Deku, Mineta, and Shoto are forbidden from fighting. They're, like, forbidden. So the person who ends up winning first place overall with the final round of the fights is Bakugo. Shoto gets second, Tokiyami gets third. And now this is where the real battle takes place. It's a 3-on-3. As Nezu just declares that they can't have 2 sets of first, second, and third place winners. So it's a free-for-all battle royale with 6 opponents. Tokiyami bows out. He says, "Yeah, I'm not getting paid enough for this. I'm not getting paid at all. I'm not about to get my fucking body wrecked. I know how they fight. I'm not stupid enough for this." Where Shoto, he's looking to prove himself. Bakugo, he's wanting to fucking hurt Mineta. And Mineta's just grinning. He's ready for it. Shoto would have bowed out, but Deku told him not to. So, he's staying in. And the fight begins. As Bakugo tries to go over there, basically, Mineta grabs him by the leg and fucking just starts beating him on the ground like Hulk did to Loki. Just boom, 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 boom. Throw as he hits the fucking back wall. Blood just splurting out his fucking nose. Dude's just done. He's done. And then Mineta is immediately kicked right in the fucking face and punted by Shoto. As Deku's laughing and Shoto tries to fucking ice Deku. Deku just uses one finger, ki blast, blows up the ice. As Deku just says, "You know what? I think I hear something in my head." As Shoto goes to jump, as Deku says, "Oh, here it is. Weakness identified." And punches Shoto right in the dick. As Shoto's eyes go wide, no ice, no type of quirk is activated. Everyone just fucking flinches and clenches up in pain. As Shoto's voice just goes as he hits the ground. And Deku just says, "Well, now, I think that's an appropriate end to someone who's acting so high and mighty." As Shoto's just like barely alive, crawling on the ground with one hand with like 3 fingers. He's trying to crawl. As basically Endeavor just says, "Oh God, why? Why did you punch him in the dick? Why did you punch my son in the dick?" as everyone's just laughing. They can't hold it no more. It was brutal, but fucking Endeavor's moment just had them fucking dying. Fucking Natsuo is just flinching up in pain because he's watching the shit in his fucking job on the fucking phone, and he's just like, bro, why'd he hit you in the dick? As Fuyumi's just crying as she just says, poor Shoto's dick, he just got crippled. Even Rei has a tear coming to her face watching her son get punched in the fucking dick. And a long shot away, someone who's watching the event in secret, he's just laughing his ass off as he's just like, the Todoroki family star child just got his dick snapped. As Deku goes back over there, he says, well, I guess it's just us now, ain't there? As that's when Sato steps out of bounds and throws up his hands and walks out. And Midnight says, I guess it's just you. As they declare Deku the first place winner. As Sato gets second, and since Mineta was eliminated before Todoroki, Shoto gets third, but there's no way he's standing. He's slumped over there on the fucking stand, still holding his dick. So, yeah. And when Deku's going to get changed, Endeavor pretty much just tries to confront Deku as Deku just says, well, I hear that voice again. Weakness identified. As he grabs Endeavor's leg, lifts it up, and they're like, no. And Deku just punches him straight in the dick, even harder. As fucking Endeavor's flames all go out, just extinguished on impact. As he's just like, hits the ground and starts crying in pain. As that's when Mineta says, you poor bastard. As they all get changed as they're just chilling. Now, the internships are coming up, and after seeing Deku's display, nobody wants to take this man. They're afraid of pissing him off and getting punched in the dick. But they gotta go somewhere. So, there is one person in particular who does want to take on Deku. He's called Fat Gum. As Fat Gum reaches out as Deku accepts it, because that's the only one who's actually reaching out to him and willing to accept it. So, yeah. Deku goes to Fat Gum. As pretty much they start talking, and Deku and Fat Gum get off swimmingly. Now, Mineta is end up going to Gran Torino, as Gran Torino actually had interest in Mineta, wanting to kind of straighten out his pervy nature. So they end up going to Hosu City after some days of training, as Sato, he goes to basically Power Loader, as Power Loader just wants to keep Sato there because he wants to try and figure out why the boy can't speak. Because he knows they're androids, so he's going to try and tinker around and fix Sato's voice. So Sato's really happy about that. As Nejire is kind of sad that, you know, if he gets his voice box fixed, it won't be the same. So that's what's happening. So while Mineta's with Gran Torino, they eventually come across the incident, except it's a bit different this time. Because instead of Shigaraki trying to talk to Stain, it's actually All For One that's trying to talk to him to try and convince him to join up, as Stain says, nah, not that, I ain't about that. So, pretty much, he's took back as, basically, All For One says, ruin this whole man's career. So, yeah, when Stain's trying to basically kill Native, Gran Torino sees that Mineta's just over there, snaps Stain's sword, and he just says, now, why would you try and stab this man? What has he done to you? He's a hero. He saves people. As Stain says, all heroes are trying to do is get money for their own purposes and fame. The true ideals of being a hero, they're not what it meant anymore. As, okay, that's a fair enough point, but still, did you ever think about becoming a hero yourself? You know, this is kind of stupid what you're doing here. So why don't you, kind of just stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin this whole little style that you're used to. As basically, Stain just says, are you mocking me? Mineta says, oh no, I'm not mocking you, but one second. As he takes out his flask and just starts drinking it. And Gran Torino just said, watch out, as Mineta's just looking like, huh? As he just punches straight through Stain's stomach. As Stain starts to bleed out, he's just like, what strength? As Mineta just says, yeah. That was a casual punch, my guy. I wasn't even trying. And he goes back to drinking. Gran Torino's just like, the fuck? You just killed a man. As basically, Mineta says, I wasn't trying to kill him. I was just trying to punch him, and well, the hand went through his stomach. You know how it is. Gran Torino's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And basically, you know how it is. So Mineta just calls up Deku as Deku answers his phone. Now, what in the hell have you did, Fort 15? And Mineta says, well, kinda killed the guy and left the trace. And you dumbass, when we kill somebody, we don't leave a trace. Not even one little strand of hair. Get rid of the body. And what about my teacher? As he's like, wait a minute, where are you at? You know, I'm a little city called Hosu, and Hosu, huh? Hold that thought. As he flies up into Hosu City Street, he says, alright, Meat Shield, where the fuck are you? I'ma find you, Meat Shield. If you don't fucking clean up your mess, I'ma fucking throw you into the gosh damn sun. Come on out here, boy. As Mineta, she's like, oh shit, no, not dealing with this. Okay, sorry, but bye. As he just fucking blows Stain's body up, disintegrating it. Gran Torino's just like, the fuck did you just do? Mineta looks at him and says, getting rid of evidence. As Gran Torino's just like, the fuck is wrong with you? As Deku comes down there and says, oh, there you are, Meat Shield. Wait a minute. What? Two short people? Really? As I said, what? And is this your father or something? And Gran Torino looks at him and says, oh, hell no. Look, you may be a giant of a man, but I don't want you to fucking get the wrong idea. I am not related to this boy in any semblance of the way. As Mineta says, you know what? I think I can hear it. As Gran Torino says, what? Hear what? As Mineta says, weakness identified. And takes Gran Torino's leg and fucking kicks him in the dick. As Gran Torino's eyes just go fucking wide with pain. Fucking Native scared as fuck. As Deku says, now listen here. If you don't want your damn balls ending up like this old man's, I'm afraid you're gonna have to say you didn't see nothing. Now, do I make myself clear, boy? As Native just nods his head and says, I didn't see nothing. I didn't see a thing. And basically, Deku said, you're damn right you didn't. Now, get out of here and have a nice day. As Native takes off running, Deku and Mineta clean up all the fucking Nomus running around. Endeavor, he's still having his balls on ice, so he's not even able to take on anybody, because him and Shoto are right there next to each other on the couch, ice pack on their fucking shit, so yeah. And Gran Torino is critically injured and is taken to the hospital, where they say, well, you don't have any balls anymore. As Gran Torino looks at Mineta and says, why? I wasn't done using those. As Mineta just says, well, sorry. As Gran Torino just gets depressed and files to be retired permanently. And the file to be retired is accepted. Deku goes back to Fat Gum and says, "Oh, sorry there. I was using the toilet. Whew, I wouldn't go in there for a while, though." As Fat Gum says, "Yeah, I'll take your word on it. It sounded pretty intense in there." As Deku says, "Well, you definitely know how it gets." So, internships come to a close, where basically it's now time for them to go back, and now we have the final exam. And the final exams, I'm actually going to cover every single one. So, the time passes, and Kendo and Deku are in a solid relationship now. And they're actually pretty ready for it, because Deku and all of them have been steadily training. Everyone's gotten a bit stronger. Shoto's finally healed up, so he's ready as well. So, let's get into the matches. So, just so you know, it's not going to be the same matches as in canon, because I just randomized everything. I even randomized their opponents. So, yeah, let's get into this. The first one is Hiroshima and Shoji versus Mirko. There is no way in hell they beat Mirko, so they fail. Mina and Shoto versus Vlad. Now, this is actually a win for Mina and Shoto, because for one, Mina's acid and Shoto's ice and shit would just be too much for Vlad to deal with. So yeah, he gets beaten. So yeah, it's a win for Mina and Shoto. Now, the next one is Koda and Kaminari versus Ectoplasm. Yeah, that's a win for Ectoplasm. Sorry, but they would fail. So the next one is Tokiyami and Asui versus Midnight. Now Tokiyami would get knocked the hell out, so he would fail. Asui would run, and she would pass. So Tokiyami would fail, Asui would win. The next one is Kendo and Sato versus Nezu. And Sato can actually talk now. So Sato just says, "Well, it's gonna be fun working with you. I look forward to knocking this little bitch-ass mouse out." As Kendo says, "Well, apparently he's just up there in that, so easy enough." As the round starts, Sato just fires a ki blast off, and it blows up Nezu's machine, and Nezu just has to jump to safety, as Sato catches him and just says, "I think that's a win for me." And Kendo, as Nezu, "Yeah, that's a pass, you guys win." The next one is Toru and Mineta versus Mount Lady. As Mount Lady gets in there, she says, 15, are you cheating on me with an invisible bitch?" As Toru says, "What? No, I would never. This guy's disgusting." As basically Mineta says, "I am not." And she says, "Oh, so now my man's not good enough for you, huh? Okay, bitch, that's it. We're throwing down." As Mineta's just like, "What the fuck is this? How did I get up in this fucking situation? What did my choice of leaving?" And Deku's like, well, look what it is. The consequences of his actions." As basically everybody's laughing. Even the people that failed, they're laughing their asses off. As basically Mineta would just take Toru and escape together, so they would both pass. And then he would go back in there, swoop up Mount Lady, as he was like, "Yeah, I ain't gonna be back at school today. You guys have fun. I'm gonna go get my rocks off." As Deku says, "You mean she's gonna get her rocks off in you?" And basically everyone laughs again. The next one is Bakugo and Uraka versus All Might. Bakugo would have no confidence after losing to Mineta. None whatsoever. Uraka would have no confidence at all either, since Deku and Ida aren't there to boost her up in confidence. So All Might takes an easy W with two demoralized opponents. meaning Bakugo and Uraka fail. The next one is Ojiro and Sero versus Aizawa. As I could actually see Sero helping Ojiro pull off an escape win. So, yeah, that is probably what would happen, but more likely Aizawa would win. So it's whichever one you want to say, but for me, I'm going to say they actually take a win here. The next one is Aoyama and Momo versus Best Jeanist. And, well, yeah. Best Jeanist easily wins. The next one is Deku and Jiro versus Endeavor. So Endeavor sees Deku as Deku sees Endeavor. He's like, well, look who it is. The man himself, Endeavor. How are you? Oh, you healed up good? As Endeavor just says, you caught me off guard the first time. You fucking freak-ass bastard. As Deku says, the fuck did you just call me, boy? As Endeavor just says, I called you a freak-ass bastard, and that trucker hat is disgusting. I'ma burn it off you. Deku looks at him and says, alright, let me get this straight. First off, you're over here trying to tell me that I'm a freak. Next off, you're saying that my trucker hat ain't shit. Well, I'ma tell you that you doggone ding-dong did it now, boy. As Endeavor just says, what you gonna do? Deku blitzes over there and says, I think you know where this is going. Weakness identified. As he punches Endeavor straight in the balls again. This time actually sending Endeavor about a foot up in the air from the punch. As Endeavor's knocked out, he's got foam coming out of his mouth. The fire's gone. Dude is just on the ground, just holding his shit passed out. And that's an easy win for Jiro and Deku, as basically Nezuko says, I need to make a rule about that weakness identified shit. As basically Baku says, what the fuck is up with this weakness identified shit? And Sato says, weakness identified. As Baku says, no. Boom! Right in the fucking balls. As Bakugo's just knocked out. Foam's coming out of his mouth. His pupils are gone. Man's just laying on the fucking ground. Almost damn near dead. As Bakugo and Endeavor are taken to the ER, it's revealed that Endeavor and Bakugo will never have kids. Endeavor will never have another kid, and Bakugo will never have kids ever. No way they can fix that shit. As Todoroki's feeling kind of concerned as he gets his shit checked in, they say, yeah, there's a 50-50 chance for you. He didn't hit you that hard. So Shoto's just like, yeah, okay. So the whole training arc thing would happen. And since Stain's message never got out there, people really wouldn't join up with the League of Villains. But All For One would be desperate, as he knows that there's a few people he could try to recruit. So he sends a band that he's paid good money for out after them, which is basically everyone that attacked it's in canon except for one, well, Toga, Dabi, and Spinner. The rest of the people would still join up. Pretty much. Now, with that, Deku would meet Koda, as Koda would try to punch him in the dick, and Deku would say, hold up there now, boy. If you want to do that, you gotta give him a warning first. As goes, why would I give them a warning? As Deku says, here, it's like this. And he takes Bakugo's leg and he says, weakness identified. And punches Bakugo in the dick. As Bakugo says, why? Why do you keep punching me in the dick? And Koda gets a fucking kick out of that. He's just like, that's fun. Teach me how to do that. As Deku just takes Kota by the shoulder and he says, well, come on then, son. Let me teach you some things. As he says, what's your name? As he says, my name's 13. It's nice to meet you, Kota. As they go over there, as Kota's learning how to dick punch from Deku, as Sato goes over there and teaches him how to do it as well, and Mineta is teaching him how to do the kicks. So Kota has a great bond with 13, 14, and 15. Just already off rip, as Bakugo is on bed rest for a few days. Kendo tells Deku they need to talk, and basically, like, he tells Sato and Mineta to keep training the boy. So they do. As Kendo says, look, so what are we actually as Deku? Well, what do you mean? I gave you a trucker hat. Doesn't that say I love you like giving you a trucker hat? Doesn't every girl want a trucker hat? As Kendo says, are you being serious or is that sarcasm? I really can't tell. As Deku, I thought everybody wanted a trucker hat. You're telling me trucker hats ain't shit? You're ruining my whole life for trucker hats. As Kendo's, that's the problem. Your whole life is nothing but trucker hats, and this whole weakness identified as she kicks Deku in the balls. And Deku's like, that was a good kick. As basically Kota just says, oh, big sis, teach me how to do that. As basically Kendo's just like, wait, what? And basically Kendo just hugs him and says, okay, I'll teach you. As Deku's just getting himself back up, as he can hear Bakugo laughing. Ha, not so funny now, is it? As Deku just looks at him and says, I can still weakness identify you, boy. And Bakugo shuts up. So, the next few days, everything's going good. Deku and Kendo are having relationship counseling, as the Wild Wild Pussycats aren't a fan of Kota being taught how to punch people in the dick effectively, but as long as he's smiling now. And Kota eventually goes up to his aunt and he says, guess what? And she says, what? As he says, I want to be a pro hero. As she says, oh, how nice. What made you do that? As he says, because then I can hit a lot of heroes in the dick. As she says, what? He says, I'm gonna be the weakness identified hero, Dick Destroyer. As basically everyone just dies of laughter, except for Kota's aunt. She just like can't believe what the fuck she just heard. As Deku starts laughing, as he says, you know what? Here you go, Kota. As he takes Kota's hat from him and gives him his trucker hat. And Kota says, oh, I got my very own trucker hat. As Deku would look at him and say, you sure do, boy. Your very own trucker hat. As he says, look, big sis Kendo, I have a trucker hat. As she says, yeah, cool. As Kota just goes running around in his trucker hat. Since the fucking androids can't really get anything out of the type of training that they're doing, so they all just spar with each other while they're not teaching Kota. So it comes to the test of courage night. Everyone's participating except for Deku and Kendo. They're with Kota, spending some quality time together. Kendo's trying to get Kota to take off the trucker hat. Deku and Kota are just like, no, the trucker hat stays on. It's a symbol. As Kota says, it's a symbol of my hero-ness. And basically, Kendo says, well, why? Why did you do this? He was presumably innocent boy. Why did you do this to him, 13? Why? As Kota says, wait a minute, what would be my android number? As Deku has to think about that. Well, let's see. It can't be 16, 17, 18, or 19. Well, it can't even be 20. Oh, there's supposedly a 21. I guess your number would be 22? As Kota just says, oh, I'm Android 22 then. My new name is 22. The weakness identified hero 22. Yeah, I like that. As Deku says, well, good for you. Android number 22. As basically he just looks at everything going on. Then he sees, well, some type of gas in the forest. He just says, did 15 let one rip? And that's when he hears something. He just pushes fucking Kota and Kendo out of the way as Muscular comes out there, as he just says, come on, let me kill that kid. He should be dead for wearing such an ugly trucker hat. And Deku just looks at him and says, what did you just say about my trucker hat? As Kota just says, oh no. As Kendo says, oh no is right. As basically Muscular just says, what are you gonna do about it? As Deku just says, oh, you're about to see, boy. You're about to see what happens when you disrespect my trucker hat. As Muscular tries to punch Deku, Deku punches him and is just running alongside, just beating the fuck out of him. Left punch, right punch, knee in the back, just all the way down the fucking cliff of the mountain. As Muscular's just like, what the fuck? It doesn't matter how many layers I put on, this guy's knocking the fuck out of me. And that's when he grabs Muscular by the leg as he says, weakness identified. Punches Muscular so hard in the balls, all his muscles fly the fuck off. As he's just like, as he lets Muscular fall, he fucking shoots him with a ki blast, disintegrating him. As he says, you don't talk shit about my trucker hat. As basically, he just walks off from there. As he flies down there and he realizes there's nobody left in the forest anymore. As everyone's pretty much dead except for one person. The person's called Mr. Compress, as he's compressed Tokoyami and is running for his dear life. He's not even going to try to get to Bakugo, but Tokoyami, he's pretty sure that's a good enough catch. As he's running, Deku goes over there and he says, where the fuck you think you're going, boy? I say you drop that ball right now, or you're gonna catch what I like to call weakness identified. As basically Mr. Compress just says, what's weakness identified? As Kota is right there, he says, ooh, let me. As Deku takes Mr. Compress's leg and holds it up, as Kota says, weakness identified, and punches Mr. Compress right in the balls. As Mr. Compress is just like, as he drops down, just holding his shit. And he's just like, that's weakness identified. As Kota high-fives Deku as he says, I am the weakness identified hero, 22. As he says, and this is my trucker hat. And pretty much just everyone interrogates the fuck out of Mr. Compress. They get All for One's location, as they actually decide that they're gonna let a special team handle this. And so basically they send 13, 14 and 15 out there. But before Deku heads on out there, he buys himself a new trucker hat. After all, he gave his old one to Kota. So, yeah. And he gave Kota his number, so if he ever wanted to call, then, well, of course, there's that. Now, when you get there to the bar, basically, Deku says, well, I'm not wanting to really waste any time here, are y'all? As, basically, Sato just says, not really. He looks at me and I was like, nah, man, I'm good. So, Deku just says, well then, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. As they all just blast the bar and blow up all for one. As he's just disintegrated and dead. Like, that fucking battle, it's done and over with. Just done to ash. So, with that, they call that a good night. As Deku flies over to where Kendo's house is, picks her up, takes her back to his apartment. As she says, did you get a new trucker hat before picking me up? He says, well, no, I got myself a new trucker hat before I went and fought the fucking fight. As she's, you're done with it already? He says, well, we just kind of blew him up. No really big whoop. As she's like, huh, neat. And there, well, yeah, very neat. After all, I got a text from my new little buddy. He says he loves his trucker hat. He's even got himself a new little vest. He's already growing up so fast. As she says, look, if we ever get serious and have a kid, you are not putting a trucker hat on my kid. Deku looks at her and says, there's going to be a trucker hat on every kid we have. And Kendo says, we're not becoming a family of trucker hats. And Deku just says, trucker hat, as he flies off to his house. He gets there, Kendo just says, okay, for this, all the clothes come off, including the hat. Understand? As Deku says, yeah, I got you. All the clothes come off. Keep on the trucker hat. She says, no. Repeat after me. Deku says, alright. She says, all. Deku says, all. She says, the clothes. Deku, the clothes. Come off. Come off. Including the trucker hat. Including the trucker hat. She says, now say it all together. All the clothes come off, excluding the trucker hat. She says, gosh damn it. And so, basically, Kendo says, okay, well, let's just go to the bedroom and have our fun before I change my mind. As Deku just says, well, of course there, darling. I'm gonna make sure you have the best time of your gosh darn life. So come on, sweetheart. Now, they get in there. As Deku's doing his thing, right? He's plowing the fuck out of Kendo. She's screaming and moaning as she says, oh, tell me something. Tell me you love me. As Deku's, well, of course I love you. But come on, darling. The trucker hat stays on. And so do you. As she says, wait, what? As Deku just decides to fly up into the sky as Kendo is screaming with fear as Deku is fucking her while he's flying into the sky. As she's just like moaning all the way as Deku says, see now, that's what I meant. You're flying on my dick and the trucker hat is on. So they do that for about like 20 more minutes as Deku says, alright, come on, as basically, she just says, yeah, as Deku says, alright, there we go, nice and done. Let's go ahead and go to bed now. So, they go down there, and basically, they sleep it off. Now, it's time for their work study. As basically they all go to who they were supposed to, except Deku goes to Fat Gum. Now, there's actually a special interaction that happens as Mirko wants to fight all of Class 1A. Because, for one, he's tired of getting bitch slapped every time he makes fun of the way 14 talks, so he especially has beef with Sato. So, basically, Deku's told to sit this one out, and so is Mineta. So, the rest of the class gets fucking bodied by Mirko. Now, when Mirko hones in on fucking Sato, he blitzes him as he goes right up into the air as Sato sees him naked, as he just says, "Weakness identified." As he grabs him and he just punches Mirko straight in the dick so fast that Mirko can't even use his quirk. As he just immediately is on the ground screaming in bloody murder as there's just fucking blood coming off from where fucking Sato punched him, as fucking Nejire just says, "He has such a way with words." As Tamaki just says, "He just crushed Mirko's testicles, and the only thing you can say is, he has a way with words." As he's just like, I didn't do it on purpose. I just kind of punched him. As she's just like, "This is insane. He literally just destroyed Mirko's nuts." As Nejire says, "I know, isn't he such a great fighter? And such a poet at that." As basically they're just like, this is just not right. As Deku walks over there as he says, "Well, howdy there, Tamaki. Wouldn't this trucker hat make you feel better?" As he puts the trucker hat on Tamaki. As Tamaki just looks at it and says, "Oddly enough, this is a lot more comfortable than the hood I wear." So Tamaki accepts the trucker hat and walks off. As Mirko's just calling out to Tamaki, Tamaki just pulls the trucker hat down over his eyes, and he just walks off. As Aizawa says, "Okay, I have a question." As Deku says, "Alright, well, what's your question there, teacher?" As Aizawa says, "Why does it always have to be the dick? Like, every time you do this, why is it specifically the dick?" As basically Deku, Mineta, and Sato all look at each other, and basically Deku says, "It's the best weak point. Weakness identified. That is the weakness. We have identified it. We are exploiting it. It's really quite simple." And so he's just like, "Whatever." So Mirko's took into the ER, and he's told he will never have kids, and that his dick will never be the same. He will never get a full hard-on ever again after what Sato did to it. So Mirko declares war against Sato, and as always, that's not really advised. So Mirko just says, "Fine." As All Might goes up to Mirko and he says, "I would like for you to become my successor, young Mirko." As Mirko just says, "Okay." As All Might, just like that. I got nothing else going for me, man. I just lost my fucking testicles to one punch. I'm literally on rock bottom right now. All Might says, "Fair enough." As basically after that, the whole work study thing happens. Mirko still lets Overhaul take Eri back. As for when Tamaki is supposedly shot, Deku literally just catches the vial before it hits Tamaki. as he throws it to Fat Gum. As Fat Gum just says, "Oh, cool." Deku blitzes in and catches the guy before he can even use the drug, as he just says, "Okay, I'm gonna do this a different way." So he takes the dude's arm as he fucking dislocates it, lifts the dude up, and just fucking slams his back against his knee, breaking the dude's spine as he just kind of pulls the guy down on there, kind of like what he did to Vegeta. So, yeah. And then he just throws the guy over there for the police. And everyone's just saying, "Whoa, what a man. What is your hero name?" As Deku just thinks and he says, "I'm the Trucker Hat Hero 13. Pleasure to meet you." As everyone just starts saying, "Trucker Hat Hero." As, you know, Deku's just like, "Yes, let the Trucker Hat consume you all. All be well, all be one with my Trucker Hat." As he just leaves. Now, it's a few days, and now this is where Night Eye calls the meeting. As Night Eye is there, and he starts going over all the facts, as that's when Fat Gum slams his head down on the table, and he says, "We figured out that this vial contains human DNA." And that's when Deku gets kind of serious. He says, "What in the fuck did you just say? Did you just tell me that that vial has human DNA in it?" As they say, "Yes." And pretty much they explain that they think that that bastard is using his own daughter to make those bullets, which at this time they do think that it is still his daughter, when it's really not. So yeah. And Deku, he's pissed. He looks at Mirko and he says, "What in the hell did you do, boy? Why didn't you go over there and save that kid? I don't care if you caused an international motherfucking incident. You could have saved that damn child and gotten away." As Mirko says nothing in his defense. So Deku just fucking punches the table and just fucking destroys it. As pretty much after that, like, they say that they're going to be doing reconnaissance on everything and that the students should just stay put. So after that, Deku ends up going back to his place. Kendo's there in her lingerie saying, "Hey, you wanna, as Deku says, "Not now, darling. I'm having a hard time of things at the moment. Don't mind me. Just go ahead to bed." As basically, Deku's just waiting. He's waiting for that call. And eventually, he gets it. As he says, "I done got your number, bitch." So, basically, as soon as the operation starts, Deku don't give a fuck. He just fucking fires a key blast down the whole fucking hallway, destroying everything. As he's just fucking obliterates it. And he sees Overhaul down there with Eri. So, he flies down there. As he gets there and he says, "Well, it looks like 13's your unlucky number." As he just looks at Deku, just like he does, and he says, "I'm not very superstitious." And Deku just wipes his face and says, "How in the hell have they had so much trouble catching you?" As basically, Overhaul just looks at him and says, "I'm very careful." And Deku says, "We'll add not being too careful and child abuse to your record of crimes." As that's when everyone tries to jump Deku, and Deku just dismantles all of them. As Eri's watching, she's just amazed by that. As Eri runs away, is scared, Deku teleports over to them. As he says, "Here, hold this for me for a moment." As he takes off his trucker hat and puts it on Eri's head, as Eri feels the head of the trucker hat. She holds on to it. As she pulls it down, covering up her little horn. As he looks back at Chisaki and his goons and says, "Now, where was I?" As he goes over there and starts beating the fuck out of them, Ki Blast 1, weakness identified. Punches Chisaki straight in the fucking dick. As Chisaki's floored, he uses his quirk to repair himself down there. As Deku's like, "Well, that took a lot longer than I would have hoped. Oh well." As he just fucking Ki blasts everyone. And then he especially just takes his time with Chisaki. So he says, "Here we go for one moment. TH Deadly Bomber." As he just fucking blasts fucking Chisaki with it. As Chisaki's just like, "Oh fuck." As he's just blown up. As Eri gets over there, right beside Deku, she looks up and Deku says, "Well now, how are you doing? You look mighty fine in that little trucker hat. You know what? You have a family?" Eri would shake her head no. Deku would say, "Well then, you're gonna be my little adopted daughter, and you can keep that trucker hat." As he puts Eri up on his shoulder, he walks out the building. As everyone just sees Deku's got Eri, there's no trace of anyone. As Night Eye says, "Did you let them get away?" And Deku says, "Nah, they ain't ever gonna cause a problem again." As he flies off with Eri. As Night Eye says, "Come back here with that child." As Deku says, "I'm adopting her, and she has my trucker hat." As Mirio just looks at Eri just like, damn. So, yeah. Basically, the years would go on now since there's no more threats, really. And any threat that does pop up, Deku just eliminates. So, he graduates UA, and he becomes the most popular hero, as everyone across Japan all wears a trucker hat. As Japan is now called the country of trucker hats. And Kendo is extremely fucking pissed, but she eventually comes around to the way of the trucker hat and rocks her pink trucker hat as well. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the end of this story. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, I've been Emperor Crowned Fiend, and peace.